Welcome back, everybody, to yet a special episode here on the Oshay Duke Jackson main channel. For those who are waiting for the video to start, I definitely appreciate you. Thank you for coming in today. For those of you who are coming in to watch it after this is over, I welcome you also. I want to give a big shout out to one of my favorite channels that I've been seeing, Kev Mag Videos. I saw him comment, so if he sees this, he's probably watching this. Kev Mac video, shout out to you. Today we have Man of Tomorrow on today, a successful brother, and we're going to be talking about why ex-gang members and like guys coming out of prison, there should not be in the forefront to rebuild Black communities. And so I want to just introduce to some and present to others Man of Tomorrow. What's going on, MOT?
Oh, what's going on, man?
Oh man, I'm glad to have you here, man. Just chilling, man. Thanks for coming on to the channel today. Um, Let me just ask you this, and it seems like YouTube is playing with the notifications on this channel. What brought you over to? I always ask everybody, what brought you over to YouTube, to the Black sector of YouTube?
I mean, it's just that the I was looking for things for my younger nephews, and that's when I ran into your channel, like Minister Jab and stuff like that. It's just that I was looking for channels to try to push him into, so that way he can stop listening to a lot of bad information that he somehow gets, but doesn't really listen to me all that much. I'm like, hey, okay, why don't you listen to this guy's channel or this person's channel about the stuff that you could be running into? And so this is how I kind of got into the Black sector. And once I started looking at people, start interacting with them, that's
Okay, let me ask you about your own person before we get into the interview. Let's talk about some of your humble beginnings. You know, what kind of where did you come up? What type of things did you see as a youth? Because I mean, we know that you're a successful guy now. Tell people what you do now as far as a business.
oh, I have a couple contracts with the United States Air Force, and I run a transportation company.
Okay, so did you grow up with having money and having things like nice things?
Not at all. I mean, actually, like nobody really owned a business in our family, not prior to me owning one, like being as successful as I am. I mean, like my grandparents were sharecroppers, and so we kind of grew up kind of in that farm kind of environment. And once they died, that's where we kind of moved to, like, what is considered the city back then. And yeah, man, just very poor, and the only way out was pretty much the military or trying to go to school somehow. So I mean, it was just just very hard times growing up. And
Mhm.
when we didn't have problems with gangs and all that kind of stuff where we lived there, because we lived out in the middle of nowhere, we were farmers. Once you move to the actual city, this is where you kind of ran into all this kind of stuff that you see now that has grown into the problem that it is.
Mhm. Let's kind of talk a little bit about this whole topic. I did a video the other day, yesterday, about why the big homies let the hood down, and in fact, we were going to do another video about annoying ass family members, but you wanted to talk about this topic because what interested you in having this particular topic today on the channel?
Because I'm starting to see these dudes pop up in mentorship programs. The ones that I'm dealing with down south, and other people are having the same problems all around the country. Like small businesses are now dealing with these people who are now coming out of prison after their 20, 25-year terms, and they want kind of like that old type of street rep kind of back when they do get out. And they think they know all this type of stuff about building and all this kind of stuff, but selling crack had nothing to do with building anything. With their ego and their reputation, it had nothing to do with building their community. So after they've done their stints, they want to come back and try to act like they're like the most hardcore people on the planet, and that they've actually changed, and that somehow all they need is a shot in somebody's organization, not at the not at the bottom, but at the top, to somehow so to somehow show people how things should be done.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really bad thing. And I think these people need to sit their ass down somewhere and take notes. I mean, because there's actually people out here who's actually doing stuff, and They can't look at their non-presence in the actual places that they destroyed as somehow somebody of a bona fides before us to give what little that we have over to them. I mean, I just don't understand how that works.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this because it's somebody like, and I got this on my video. Hey man, like, hey yo, chill because you ain't even in the community, so why are you even talking about it? Because I mean, it's not like you're in the ghetto. You're not in the ghetto, so why do you give a fuck about what's going on over there? Why do you care about what's going on over there? You don't live over there, so what the fuck are you talking about? What do you say to somebody that has that position?
No, the problem is, man, with these specific dudes who say dumb shit like that, they don't want any type of criticism toward the community that they destroyed or assisted in destroying. So if you talk about it at all from any type of form of view, you're actually indicting their involvement in
Mm-hmm.
destroying of the community. So what they do is the type of circumvent that actual criticism, which is due criticism. They don't say that we're wrong. They just don't want to hear the criticism. So what they do is they do an end run around that and just say, well, if you don't live there, then you shouldn't say anything about that. I'm like, look, none of these motherfuckers live in Africa either, but every time I look around, they got Africa on their goddamn lips. So which one is it?
It seems like YouTube's holding notifications back. That's all right. We're still gonna have a good show. Look, let's talk about I was watching certain people who, and it's funny because some of the more notorious gang members, if you watch some of the videos, a shout out to my boy Search for Who, I'll ask that in a minute. He when you look at any of the gang videos, like shout out to Kev Mack, something like that. They're street gangs, there's a lot. You'll see a lot of these guys. You like somebody will ask them a question about, hey man, do you remember when this happened and going in the hood? They was like, nah, man, I was down. In other words, I was in prison during that time. So a lot of these guys have long stretches, like 13, 14 years, 15 years. Some dudes doing 18, 20 years, where they missed all of this stuff, like X-Rated, for example. He was a popular rapper out of Dynas's hood. He was like, I remember when it happened, he was like 17 when he went down for murder. They did a home invasion. He did 26 years to life. He just got out. So he missed all of that time. So my response is, well, damn, like, you might say that we ain't in the hood, but nigga, you missed all of your life in jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you say to these guys who have these long stints like that and they missed out on so many things and missed out so many stuff as the world is changing?
I mean, if they come out with a degree in economics or something like that, I could understand them coming out with their mind state like that. But these, like most of the people who want to lead, they've done nothing but serve their time and did what they did prior to going in. I mean, and most of these people have to keep like a clear head for a long time before they get out. So when they come out trying to get this old type of reputation that they used to have, I'm like, hey man, the whole entire world has changed since you've been locked.
Mm-hmm.
And you really can't tell them nothing because they try to use that type of prison type of gruff, fake attitude to try to make it look like they could just muscle their way in and out of conversations. Now, if you listen to them very closely, this is exactly the type of pushback you're gonna get whenever you bring these type of people within your organization. They just don't think they're going, just like they ran stuff in the old hood. They just think because you was 12 or 13 back then, now you're 40 years old, they're like 50 or 60. Well, thanks, little man. I'll take it from here. Like, nah, man, this is my business. So I'm gonna be doing my way. You're not gonna come in here and try to act like you run stuff. It's very bad whenever you get those things happening. You know what I'm saying?
Let me just make this comment before I got the super chat. I think there's a dude from the 8 Trade Gangster Crips. His name was Monster Code. He wrote this really popular book, and he said something that I've always known, I've always seen. He said, like, when the police come, or when the like other gang members come to your neighborhood, it'd be like 1,000 niggas with their guns ready and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But when the police come, it could be one police officer. Don't matter what those dudes have. If they have a lot of guns, they all running. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of makes me think, shout out to Brandon L, when it comes to like other black men, see these dudes that are gang members, they never learn how to respect other black men. That's the whole thing. So that's their mentality. The only people that they are having any afraid of authority of is the police. Anybody else can get it. So it's like when they come out of prison and going into prison, you know, they have that same type of, you know, obviously prison's a little bit different because you have to follow somebody there. But when they get out, it's like, you know what I mean? They don't have any respect. I'm not saying all of them, right? But it seems like other brothers who, you know, done their stuff, done their business, they probably could have a lack of respect for somebody like you who's a business owner trying to help them out. Have you personally experienced that?
Oh, all the time, man. I mean, I lost lots of money in the millions dealing with people like this who don't listen. And whenever things go wrong, they don't want to take basic responsibility for it, and they end up messing up coalitions or using your name out there to try to boost their own bona fides and just don't even care about the years of connections that it took for you to make. They'll go piss away in a heartbeat if they could try to get something out of it. Because here's the deal, man. They've never had respect for guys like me. Like, they respected the police, the judge, yes sir, no sir, the damn prosecutor, COs, the warden and all that stuff, but they get out here and they don't respect you. The guy who actually out here doing some stuff. Now, during that whole type of circumstance, they had to show respect to all those people. And I'm telling you, man, like, throughout my life, the best people, the best business people I've ever met are reformed Ray Rays. Let me tell you why reformed Ray Rays are the best people at business. If they learn their lesson. I mean, you know, because they can command a squad. They don't have to work for that respect. There's a proper way to come out and do this. But the guys, and we're only specifically talking to the guys who's on that bullshit when they come out here. So I don't want to hear all these ex-felons in the damn chat talking about, well, I don't do that. I don't do that. We ain't talking about it. We're talking about the problem. Men talk about problems. Women want to hide behind problems. We're not doing it. So what it is that when you run into these guys who are unreformed, they have the same kind of mental state that they have before they got locked up. You know, it's everybody else's fault. You know, they yada yada. They power shift into some white man's fault shit. And so this is the type of attitude that these people bring forth whenever things don't go right. We're talking about the unreformed people again.
But you are making it. You are saying though that, hey, this is not an all thing. Obviously, there's some people that are not going to be like what you're talking about. So there are some people who you can help that have made mistakes. You are saying that too, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
They got to come in with their reformed mind state, and you know their reformed mind state based on how they handle simple instruction.
Right. Yeah. So we want to make that clear. You know what I'm saying? Because people on my other show that we talked about this, I'm from the hood, I'm from the ghetto, you know what I'm saying? I'm from, you know what I mean? I was never participating in it, but I'm from these places. I've seen people personally, you know, they was doing one thing and then do another thing. What we're just saying that is we're not taking a couple cases. It's just, you know, for the whole thing, you know what I'm saying? So let me talk about this. This is what I realized too. When you look at some of these documentaries, or some of these people like on Vlad TV, what you notice is, and this is the problem that I have with it, right? They will say, okay, I don't have a problem, you know, I would never tell anybody to gangbang. I would never tell you to do it's wrong, you know, there's no end game. You know, I'd have been in prison, you know, this many amount of times, right? Then they'll come out and say I'm a community activist. And then you go watch their new music video with all this crip, you know what I mean? They got the guns in the video and shit like that. You know what I mean? They out there walking, they got all the guns. I'm like, wait, hold on, man. Like, you talking about you a community activist, but your music is still repping rolling 60s or Hoovers or whatever. You know what I mean? And see, it's like, and to me, I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that if you're telling people that you shouldn't do this, but what you showing on your Instagram or what you showing on everything else is the complete opposite of that. And it's like you still out there active, But now you know what I'm saying? Because let's say, for example, if it was me or you, we go out to LA, start claiming rolling 60s Crips. They would be like, nigga, you're not from here. You know what I mean? Like, get the fuck up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know what the fuck you talking about. Now, but if we call them out on it, it's like, come on, bro. You out here talking about you a community activist. You want to build for the community, and you out here talking about how much coke you sold. You got the Glocks and shit. Now you know you on probation or parole. Then them the niggas start getting real upset. Oh, nigga, you need to watch your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you feel about stuff like that?
What I feel is, man, like, dude, it's either you're reformed or you're not reformed. I mean, it's either you're on a new path or you're not on a new path.
Right.
It's either you can talk about that lifestyle within some type of context. Like if you see like these ex-mafia members, I'm not sure what the guy's name is, but he was part of the Gambino family, and you know, he's a government snitch, and he goes around, he does all these speeches and all this kind of stuff. Like the way that guy talks about stuff, he talks about the stuff he used to do, and how he's on the new path and all that kind of stuff. Like most of these people, they're not doing that. They get out and they kind of do this studio gangster type thing on camera, and then they want to come around and try to help people in the community. And you're like, hold on a second, man. Like,
yeah, but you can't do both.
Yes, and it's like, okay, you're hanging out with the same people and all this kind of stuff. And I like I said, man, they're popping up in these support groups for like young black men, and they don't understand that those dudes, a generation and a half ago, sent those dudes' father to prison. That's how come them dudes ain't got no father. Because dudes like that use those kids, which is the child of those kids, to get them dudes locked up. So when these dudes are coming back around, you can see all the stuff that they're doing because they're very naked about it on Instagram, Facebook, and sometimes YouTube for that matter. And it's like, hold up, man. It's either you're reformed or you're not. And whenever you call them out on it, you're immediately hating for some reason. I'm like, nah, man. I'm just trying to protect my name. Protect my name with stuff that I'm a part of.
Exactly.
And you know, in some of these cases, you get some of these so-called reform dudes who follow some of the leaders home and try to rob them and stuff like that. Like, they don't get that that's the risk of bringing these people in, right? And what they don't understand is that because you want to do good, nobody owes you another shot either. And when you kind of rebuff them and be like, look, man, we're trying to do this with this group of people, and if you're known for something like that, hey, man, you can put everybody else at risk. Because when most of these people go to jail, they take a whole lot of people down with them. So if you're out in public and you got like this reformed, quote unquote, person with you who's quasi still in the game, hey, man, not everybody gonna forgive what X person have done in the past.
Right.
And I ain't got time to be catching no hot bullet or nobody in my organization over keeping this type of person around. You know, and it's like, you want to give people a shot and you want to give people a chance, but they want you to take a risk on them even though they haven't changed. And I think that's the wrong approach to it. I mean, if you're going to be reformed, like, my man, just be reformed, man.
Right. Let me shout out some of the people on the super chat. Shout out to let me read Dynasty's last. Open Mind, what up, Negro? This title is hilarious. Shout out to you, Open Mind. Brandon L. MOT set it off, my man, out of St. Louis and Memphis. Nana Welbeck, peace, O'Shea. Seems like the banging in the 80s and the 90s didn't pay off, and now they're quote unquote born again and want to redeem themselves at the hood's expense. Search for Uhuru, my man out of South Sac. Like I said, he used to be I told you, one of the best athletes. I mean, my homeboy Ontario Smith is still the best running back to ever come out of Sacramento. But you know, Dynasty is a close number 2. You know what I mean? He wants to know, how do you feel about Jay Morrison?
Yeah, I invested in that project. It's going well.
Okay. Let me ask about this. Shout out to Kid Open Mind. I seen one of my friends in here from back in the day, Jason Bonner, in here. So whenever I see somebody from my neighborhood, I always want to give them a shout out. Let me ask you this. When we're telling, just like, you know, when I was coming up, you know, and I've ever had an interest in asking about, you know, how drugs work or whatever, you know, people will let me know, hey, man, you know, you a square ass nigga. You know, you're not really built for that. You know what I'm saying? Yo, you need to go to school. You need to do something else. All right. And I was able to accept that, you know, to use whatever my gifts were in another way to one day come back and help my community or whatever. But let me ask you this: these people who have, gotten a situation where, they got a felony or they made a mistake or they was out there banging or whatever, there was Bloods or there was Crips, there was Spokes Nation, whatever they was doing. Do they have a role in the Black community? Let's say if you're running the Black community, what roles do they play in it in trying to help rebuild it?
If they're reformed,
right,
they have their own path to get money without just trying to hang around and trying to get a job and not really trying to do anything with their life. I don't think they have any. I think they need to be in a support role only. I don't think they need to be leading anything.
I agree with that.
I think they need to be in a support role, because the time that they did for their crimes, they get that time for the government. You didn't do any time for the actual neighborhood that you destroyed. Yeah, you did time for them. These kids are still broken down here. These women are still broken down here. I don't give a damn about them, but they're still broken down here, right? So the time that you served, you didn't serve time for the actual people who you actually wronged. You served time for the country you actually wronged, not for the neighborhood you actually wronged. So if you're going to come down here and want to mentor, hey, man, you got to be in a support room role only. So you got to be handing out basketballs, feeding people, handing out spoons, plates, forks, and knives. You can't be out here trying to be head of the football camp or the basketball camp or the math league or something like that. Because, trying to get these programs funded, and the first thing they're going to do is look at the board of directors and the managers of these actual things. And it's not really a money thing all the time, but the overall reputation of people who you bring into the actual spot that isn't on the par and level of the people who intend to clean this up matters a lot. Like, and most of these people, they only want to be a part of something if they can run it. And so what happens?
That's very true.
Yeah, and what happens is most of these people get kind of like, browbeat into letting these people in the organization, and all of a sudden they just move up using the same kind of browbeat. Oh, I could do this, I could do that. Oh, you don't think I could run this? I used to run the whole hood. How come I can't help? I'm like, look, man, look. You got to give me a 5 smooth year of no problems before we allow you to run something. You want to make sure this is out of your system, man, because what we don't want is we don't want to put somebody in the program who's going to destroy it from the inside out. Like they have so much immediate needs for validation. That isn't what the program is about all the time. It isn't about immediate validation for your needs. This is about kids. And so when you have somebody who come up and they kind of want all this validation up front, I'm like, damn, man, had this dude learned anything? I'm like, hold up. So what's the actual motive of you trying to redeem yourself right away? Turns out most cases they be trying to hit one of the chicks in the program or something like that. Trying to look like he's a big dude in the group. Like, that's what it mostly comes down to all the time, man. But hey, you got to make sure people aren't things for the right reasons and not for the wrong ones. And they're not owed a shot to redeem themselves. You can redeem yourself for being around these kids. You can redeem yourself like, hey, look at that dude right there. He got his life together. Not, hey, look at that guy right there. He's in front of you. He got his life together. You're not owed that shit. You're just not. And people try to make it look like that these people care a lot more because their thirst for wanting to be inside these circles are a lot more. But they know inside these circles are heavy hitters. They know there are business people inside these circles. They know there are high people, law enforcement inside these circles. They know there are people who are judges and prosecutors inside these circles. Most of they, what do you call it? Probation officers are inside these circles trying to get these kids right. So what, like some of these people get inside these circles to try to get some time knocked off of their probation or whatever. They kind of in it for that. That's why you have to make sure that everybody's in there for the right reasons.
Let me say this also, and I noticed this about, I lived in half my life, or at least 40% of my life in Los Angeles County, and the other half I lived in Del Paso Heights. What I noticed about African American gangs, those gangs are highly unorganized. I think LA gangs might be a little bit more structured, than the gangs that, like in our neighborhood. But like the gangs in Sacramento, they have a lot more autonomy, kind of like more control over the self, where it's like maybe not as many shot callers, or there's not as much of there's not as much as a hierarchy. Like, gangs in LA is a little bit more structured. That culture is a little bit more, like for example, when I was coming up, you might have a friend that's like you might grow up, your best friend might be a blood and a Crip or something like that. And then it wasn't really, Sacramento is a different culture. Like in LA, that would have never happened at the same time, when I was coming up. So LA had like more, but still both in comparison to like Mexican gangs or Asian gangs, there's more organization and administration and hierarchy. And so with that freedom that most African American gangs have, they don't really have to report to anybody. They don't really have to, like, a lot of the OGs, probably some of them already dead or probably already in jail. So, and you see that in Chicago where niggas is kind of running wild. So even in their own gang, they don't have people that they got to really look up to. They don't have people that they really got to respect, or not say that respect, but they don't have people that they really have to like check in with. So that mentality, you get used to, doing that. And a lot of gang members, at least that I come across, are very like attention oriented. You know what I mean? Like they have to have their face in something. They gotta, they have that kind of, look at me kind of complex. A lot of dudes go like that. You know what I'm saying? And they have to be getting credit and being seen and getting known for shit. And like I said, they have a hard time, joining somebody else's program without not always being about them. I have noticed that about African American gangs and brothers that's come from those kind of sets in comparisons to like Mexicans or Asians. Like they have like a hierarchy they got to follow, and they have like a system of administration. Black gangs don't work like that. So when you take somebody that spent all their life with that kind of mindset, and when you come to some people that are already like, let's say like people like yourself or people like myself who we don't really think in that same mindset, towards working with other brothers. They seem to have a hard time working with other black men because they've been at war with them all their lives. You know what I'm saying? So it makes it quite difficult for a lot of them to come in and just, be a support system without having their face on it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's hard because it's not mutually exclusive. But what bad that comes out of it is mutually exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is that they don't understand, man. We're bringing when you involve them in these type of programs, you're bringing kids from like one level to the next, and that's too slow of a path for some of these dudes to want to jump into right away. I mean, they want to be a part of it because of the cameras and the face in the newspaper, but when it comes to the actual work, they don't see a lot of work being done, and like most of them get with it. They think it's one thing, and then after a while they just fall off because they didn't get the type of notoriety that they thought they was gonna get out of it, for instance. Because a lot of people are a lot standoffish around these guys. Because a lot of people remember those days when XYZ guy was running around this place. It's kind of like that.
Let me also ask you this, because one of the things that I want to start doing on my platform is, and this is not to shit on anybody, because I did a video like 3 weeks ago when I was in Tanzania that a lot of dudes from the hood looked out for me. They kept me away from certain situations. You know what I mean? I want to give a shout out to my boy Terrence. He from, I ain't gonna say his last name, but he from Elm. He used to always tell me, when I was walking down the street trying to get my education, he used to see me and he used to be like, yo, man, what's up, man? I said, yeah, man, I'm trying to get into college or whatever. He used to be like, man, I'm proud of you, man. You need to get out of here. Don't, ain't nothing for you here, man. You need to go ahead and do you. So I gotta be real. A lot of brothers, I made a video, I gave them out a lot of props. They kept a lot of dudes that wasn't really in that life. They was trying to look out, because we wasn't no competition to a lot of the thugs or a lot of the brothers out in that life. Like somebody like myself, I was never a threat to none of them. I wasn't competing for the same chicks they was competing for or nothing like that. So they never had no real problem with people like me. But I do feel that, for the brothers that are coming out of prison and are coming out of these situations, you know what I mean? they don't have a lot of resources, and some of the brothers that are doing a lot better, for those of them that want to change, I think that we should address what are the opportunities available for African American men that is coming out of prison. What trades can we help brothers get into? What connections can we get these brothers? Because a lot of them, they could have got caught up. They're just good people. Everybody can make a mistake. And so I want to start focusing on that. Hey, listen, you might not be wanting to be out there as community activism, but it's like, well, damn, you niggas ain't here. And that's what they will tell us. What can we do to help black men? Because a lot of times we stay in the kind of the elite course. Dr. Kenyon Meadows comes over here. The Man of Tomorrows comes over here. The Charles Ogleby's, the Andre Hatchett's, the Glennon Camerons, the millionaire brothers come over here all the time. But we forget about a lot of our other African American males who are also coming out of prison that might have talent, that have a lot of talent, and they just don't know the way. What suggestions could you give them as somebody who's a skilled entrepreneur that they might want to get into a new support system? They just don't know how to find it without going back into the gangs and stuff like that. What information can we give our African American brothers who are coming out of prison or that life that we can kind of get them into another support system so they can be helped?
Like what I would urge them to do is go get their CDL. And I'm not saying this because I'm in transportation. I'm saying this because that's probably one of probably the three only jobs you can get, no matter what your background is, because they have such a need for drivers.
Okay.
Another one is, get your forklift license. Okay. Every warehouse in this country are always short of somebody who can drive that damn forklift. $14, $15 an hour. In some cases, way more than that. Depends on where you are. Again, you got to be able to keep your nose clean. You got to be able to pass them piss tests. And if you can't pass, you need to sign yourself up for some drug, whatever it takes. And another one is construction, believe it or not. A lot of construction jobs, there's a lot of places, especially a lot of small, like electrical firms and type of, people who hang sheetrock, man, dude. They would love to have somebody who they can train to be able to take over and to help them out. Those are just 3 or 4 of the things that people can do. Yeah, it's going to be some crazy hours. Yeah, you're going to be working outside. Yeah, you're going to be getting screamed at by other people. But look, man, if you're honestly trying to get up out of that situation, these are options. These are the only ones you got. You can't be complaining about what's out here. You got to be able to take what you can, so that way you can separate from these people and do your own thing, or focus on your dream, man. Hey, I didn't like driving no damn truck. I can tell you that much. But guess what? I got everything I wanted in life because I did something that I didn't like for a period of time. Turns out I like the time to think.
Right.
Turns out I like what came with it. And some people, man, they always say no immediately. I'm like, man, bro, you ain't got a lot of options out here.
Right.
These are the options that you got. You got to take them. And you got to move the hell up out of that neighborhood that you got in trouble with in the first place. Sometimes, man, you got to go up to that guy at the job and be like, man, look, I know my record look bad, man, but I moved from this place and I'm really trying to start off new. A businessman like me would respect something like that.
Right.
A lot of people would. Right. But if you're not real honest about it, and then you're trying to be shifty about what happened, and then you're trying to tell your whole 30 for 30 story to somebody in a damn interview room, you're like, dude, people ain't got time for that shit. They want to know if you can do this job, yes or no.
Right. Right.
Most of these people, they don't understand that you walk in with the job, is what's opening your mouth or talking about your past in a way that doesn't look like you're reformed is what loses you the job. Because these ain't big firms, man. We're talking about small firms. We're taking big chances. We don't have a whole lot of people working there. They don't have time for you not showing up to work on time. They don't have time for you messing up contact. They don't have time for you not taking your time and end up messing up some stuff. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot another career field. Moving. The moving industry are always looking for movers. Right now, it's a boom season. It's always going to be booming from January to like maybe September. So also keep that in mind. Because as soon as the new year comes, all people do their office moves. A lot of people buy their new houses after the Christmas season is over. That's another thing that y'all can get into.
And also, you know what? Shout out to Big Herc. Big Herc is from Sacramento, California. He has the prison series on YouTube. Open Mind said there are alternatives to manual labor. And he's right. Those are some things. Hell, right here, some of the prison channels on
I really like
YouTube.
his show. I really like his show.
Yeah, some of the prison channels on YouTube, man, guys has been in the pen, came out and made YouTube series about that. You know what I mean? Like, so if you have certain skill sets and things like that, you know what I mean, you can transition. Um, just right here on YouTube. There's so many opportunities for brothers, and this is the thing that we want to tell black men is like, okay, we're not looking down upon y'all or upon, because we are each other. We are, what I'm saying, we come out of the same system. You know what I mean? The system was not made to keep, the brothers who made it out up, and they ain't making to keep, the brothers that had some issues. You know what I mean? What they would love to see is, us try to attack one another and stuff like that. But that's not what this is about. But what this is about also is understanding, certain boundaries. And I agree with you. Ex gang members, they can't be leading community activism things. It's just not their strength. You know what I mean? Somebody said Malcolm X. Somebody will always use that. Hey, listen, when Malcolm X came to Nation of Islam, was he running the Nation of Islam? No. Malcolm X came into a certain situation. And it is just that, when you live that kind of life, and if you've been gone for a certain amount of times, certain skill sets you just don't have anymore. You know what I mean? And regenerating the new generation to let them know what they need to do, you might not have. And this is why we all need to work together as black men to try to come together. But I definitely agree. You can't, and these disingenuous community activists, I know there's some good ones, but see, they need to be calling people out on this bullshit, man. These dudes out here talking about, what I'm saying, I'm a community activist, but you still using your same gang name. You know what I mean? When somebody interviewing you, you still on all blue. You know what I mean? You still out in the music industry, you rapping about what you used to rap about. You talking about you got guns all in your video. This is the problem that I have with these particular types of people. And a lot of people is like too afraid to say that. I'm not afraid to say that. It is what it is, because they will call me out on some fake ass shit. You know what I mean? And it just goes both ways. You can't be trying to talk about you a community activist and you at the community activist event in all blue. You know what I mean? On Florence and Normandy. You just can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I'm saying. A lot of times black communities get held back because the dudes heard it in both ways. You heard it in the beginning while you fucking up the shit. Then you come back, try to necessarily be a community activist, and then you fuck it up again because you know what the fuck you doing. So, sometimes, nigga, you just got to sit your ass down. That's not nobody taking a shot at you. That's just being real, nigga. This is just saying you ain't built for that. You know what I mean? Building communities ain't what you built for, my nigga. That's just not you. You was the muscle. You was a dope boy. You was a whatever. You might be good at the rap shit. You might be good at all the other shit, man. You might have bodies. You might be able to whoop a nigga ass. That's cool, bro. But when it comes to this administrating and organizational shit, that's not you. You feel me? You need to go and just, be a part of somebody else's type, because you don't have the answers to that. And that's what I'm saying. What you got to say on that, Amanda, tomorrow?
Yeah, it's just that they look like, I'm talking about people who are exclusively the problem, who don't have the perspective. I got to keep putting that in mind because people think I'm brow brushing for some reason. So the people look at people who are quote unquote weaker than them as somebody who they would never respect. They see them doing what they think is a simple job, and they just think, "Oh, I can do that." I'm like, "No, man, this is this person's field. They're here on a volunteer basis. They actually have a job doing this type of stuff. They're like social work and stuff like that. A lot of people look at, oh, he's just talking to a child. Like, no, there's a lot more going on there, and it's just that it's a respect level for actual professionals who are actually volunteering their time to help. Like, they don't get that. These people don't have to be here. And they definitely don't pull up with some of this nonsense in their personal life. So for somebody who just walk in here out the blue acting like they run the show with this hood vernacular, they're like, man, who is this dude? How y'all let this dude? Now it looks bad on all of us because we got this person in here who act like they want to run the whole show. Actually, also, there's a lot more other fields. Michael Coleman is right. The oil field is a place where they are hiring. I know people. There's a person from where I'm from. He picked up like 7 or 8 people and took them down to Texas. Good for him. And
Hmm.
now those dudes working in the oil field, making more money than they ever seen in their life. But a couple of them messed up because they got the money and they wanted to quit, whatever, whatever. Also, you got like in Alaska, you got like these boats that people can go on for like crab crab fishing and all kind of other stuff. You got those people who constantly need people. Yes, it's dangerous as hell, but yeah, that's another thing that you can do as well.
Right.
So
But let me just say this, man. As somebody in the chat, I ain't gonna shout them out. It's like you don't know what you're talking about. I see it every day. All right. Since you see it every day, then show me statistics where these people in those neighborhoods make more money now because of that intervention. The test scores in that neighborhood have went up because of that intervention. I don't care nothing about crime going down or whatever. I don't care nothing about that. Killings going up or down, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm looking for this. I'm looking for test scores going up. I'm looking for new businesses opening up. I'm looking for per capita going up. I'm looking for education going up. I'm looking for all of these things. Property values going up because of these new things coming into the community. And those communities should not be experiencing any gentrification because of the people there have now become so talented because of what's going on. Then you don't need any of these things or no government assisted programs. So if you can't show me any things or numbers on this because of what these people are doing in these places, shut the fuck up because you don't know what you're talking about. And that's being real nice because that's what matters. Test scores going up, money going up, new businesses opening. That shit ain't happening, man. Fuck out of here with that shit, nigga. You know what the fuck you talking about, man? You just running your mouth because you seen 1 or 2 or 3 niggas. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can find 1 or 2 or 3 niggas that's doing something, man. If they ain't having no impact where you can see those things and it's measurable, employment is rising in those communities. You know what I'm saying? All of those things that build communities, you don't know what you're talking about. And that's real. That's straight up. So this is what I'm talking about. That's what we talking about. I'm talking about those metrics. I deal in numbers. I'm dealing with the fuck you niggas is talking about. Nah, nigga, get out your feelings. Show me numbers. I deal in stats, nigga. That's what the fuck I deal in. And if you can't show me that, because you can't show me that, then you don't know what you're talking about. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for any of you niggas out there that say you do community activism. Show me your motherfucking numbers on those things. Because you niggas can't show me those numbers on those things. Why? Because you niggas not doing it like that. That's why. So there's a problem then. So we need to either we gonna work together to try to fix it, and you can accept what I'm saying and not get in your feelings about it, or you just can't. Because you can't show me nothing on those things. You just can't. MOT, you got anything on that?
no, I mean it is, dude. I have to have this conversation every couple of weeks. Every time, you have these people come from out of town who want to speak and all this. I'm like, man, hold up, man. Even I know who you are. Like, nah, man. I haven't been here 20 years. Nah, man, you can't be part of this group. Oh, man, I did good here, and then you go call those places. That dude wasn't doing anything. He doing the same stuff. He just doing it in a different area. Here's the thing, man.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have time for motherfuckers are in their feelings about the individual shit that's going on in their goddamn neighborhood.
Right.
That ain't what this fucking topic is about. I don't
Right.
understand these motherfuckers out
They
here,
want to
man.
take the exception to prove the rule. And let me say this real quick. Y'all don't have to time him out. He not being disrespectful or nothing like that. The brother just, he's George. He's George Makers people, so he's a good brother. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to, I'm not coming at the man foul or nothing like that. He's entitled to his opinion, so you ain't got to time him out. But go ahead, because this is we're talking about the rule. We ain't talking about the exception because you see somebody. We talking about in general overall. Go ahead, man. Tomorrow.
I mean, because even George Macon's doing work in this community, man. So I don't understand how come we just exclusively cannot talk about problems, man.
Right.
We need to be able to do that as men. We need to be able to address problems as problems. And if it doesn't apply to you, then dude, why you got to be in your feelings over possible things that don't apply to you? That sounds like you want to be busy and worried about shit that ain't about you, man. Hey, man, nobody got time for that. Like,
Let me go ahead, Evan. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
it's just that these are things that we need to fix overall.
Right.
That's the point of these conversations. We're not talking about Jimmy or Ricky down the street doing this in your specific city. That's not who we're calling out. We're not calling out anybody. We're calling out a potential problem that we want to fix.
Right.
All right, man. So we can just keep it rolling.
So no, I mean it's funny also because like people who are considered the talented people that leave, certain ghettos or certain neighborhoods or whatever like that, you know, the people who from the streets will always want to criticize those people. Okay, you're a coon or you a sellout or whatever. You don't fuck with your people. And then when the people that are the so-called coons and sellouts try to have a conversation, then you get people who want to get real defensive. You know what I mean? They want to get it's a defense mechanism that comes in. And again, I'll say this: a lot of those dudes that come up in these situations that get defensive, they come up without dad ain't there. They still got that kind of, the reactionary mindset. You know what I mean? And then I'm going to tell you what ended up happening. The talented blacks who try to address it, when they get pushed back, what do? I'll tell you what talented blacks do. They don't do shit. They just stop fucking with it altogether. They just leave, urban places to urban situations and let that shit fall and they move on to wherever the fuck they going. You know what I mean? Because it's like, damn, well, I don't have to be there, nigga. If you're going to make it a problem, you live over there, nigga. I don't have to live there. You know what I'm saying? I don't even have to go back to the hood every day of my life. I'm just saying that for me personally. I ain't got to go back there. You know what I mean? But when you want to have these conversations and you got to really hit niggas where it hurts. And again, they don't have no problem hitting you where it hurts. You know what I'm saying? But then it's a big problem. You know what I mean? And so eventually you can't even have a discussion about it because somebody gets upset and then it's like, all right, we not even getting nowhere, man. You go ahead and have at it. And you know what I'm saying? We just gonna do our thing. Do you think that's what happens also with the talented blacks?
Dude, it took me like I really, I had the plans for it. I handed it off to people to do it, but I just recently got back in it after listening to this for like the past 2 years. Man.
Okay.
Because every time I would witness it, man, I'd be out of there. I don't even want to even have conversation about it. I just be straight up out. But you still run into it, and it's such a prevalent problem that happens over and over again. Like, okay, like some of the nurses who go there who give like kids like free eye exams and all that kind of stuff. Okay,
Right.
this person just worked 12 hours. 12 hours. No, she married, big ass ring on her finger. Everybody know who she is. What does it look like for some guy who she knows broke in a whole bunch of people's houses, giving her some hard ass time, or trying to ask her for a phone number, some stupid ass shit like that?
Right.
Like, no respect, bro. Like, people just act like if women are involved, they're obligated to a shot at that ass, no matter what the circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
Like the person's husband can be right there, right by her. People just still disrespectful, and it's always these type of dudes, man. And it's just that nobody can just come in respect and just do what they need to do while they're there. Everybody need to bring their ancillary agendas along with them while they're there to do something very simple.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes professional people not want to deal with it because professional people like smooth operations. Professional people like to walk in, drop their services, and be out of there. What professional people don't like is a whole bunch of nonsense. They're giving their time. And most of these people are taking time away from their own families to be there a couple of days a week, right? It's just that you got to respect people's time when they do get there.
White man holding you back, brother.
No, I'm done. Go ahead, man.
No, okay. Yeah, no. I was. You got cut off for a minute. So what was you saying?
No, I'm saying that a lot of people be spending time away from their families to do this little help for the community, man.
Right.
And they just deserve a level of respect and professionalism when they get there from the organization. And a lot of people, in order to bolster their numbers because they really don't have the volunteers like they should, that's how some of these key people kind of get into these groups because the numbers ain't there really.
Hmm. Let me see. Shout out to Truth Seeker. Um, $10 super chat. And then let me just say this. You know what I mean? Like some of my best friends, like when I go back home, some of my best friends is, friends that have been, down. My dad was heavily on drugs and out of jail. All right. My family was is fucked up. Okay. So I'm not here to try to judge anybody or anything like that. But I do want to talk about the support systems that have helped. And I'm not no like a role model or anything like that, but I can tell you one thing: being in the best company of people could really help you get into certain situations. So, how can we start using YouTube as a model or as an engine to help other brothers to connect with other brothers? Because it's a lot of negativity on Black YouTube. Black men who are coming out of jail, I get emails all the time, man. Like, and shout out to my brother Ron Echoes. He's a brother, man, that's going all over the country doing things in the blue collar system. He's supposed to write an article for me. The brother is very talented. What can we do to start trying to bring out information to help our other African American brothers join the support system where they do have, there's no animosity between the nerdy blacks and the blacks that was in the street, stuff like that. Because I don't really think that there is that much beef between, ex gang member blacks or thug blacks and educated black men. I think that, we really don't have a whole lot of beef in between the two groups. What can we do to try to, have a better relationship and try to, help each other out and have a support system that all black men can depend on?
I mean, the first thing you got to do is you got to kind of put to an end these places where exclusively nothing but nonsense is being discussed. One, I mean, because there's a lot of places where you go and a lot of people just say a lot of wildfire out of pocket stuff because they particularly can, and it's all about trying to look like you're the hardest core dude on the tube and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, man, y'all gotta stop listening to them cats, man. I mean, because you can't get to the real stuff if you fill in your head full of this nonsense all the time.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's entertaining, man, but at the end of the day, man, we got work to do out here. And bringing a sort of mind state to where you need to be tuned into this beef nonsense all the time, or being on these people's panel who really don't do you no damn good,
Right.
or people who are just flat out your enemy, but you can't see it for some reason
Mm-hmm.
because they're female. It's just that it's kind of hard to get these dudes to act on the court, but I guess you just have to keep stressing it and kind of calling it out immediately when it happens. And I'm not saying shut their platform down, but it's just that you got to put yourself in a different place with different people if you want different results, man. And if you want those same results, then by all means, don't have any kids and keep listening to those people. I'm stressing, don't have any kids.
Mm-hmm.
We got enough of that shit to deal with right now. It's just that most people, their situations are so dire due to their own circumstances that they want everybody to focus on it. And they would rather destroy all black progress if they can't get their issues looked at
Mm-hmm.
first and foremost. That's another thing that's a real problem in these situations. Most of these people come into these situations, well, my kid got this, my kid got. I'm like, damn, this is a volunteer circumstance. This is a volunteer situation. When did
Right.
this whole shit become about you?
Right.
Well, y'all brothers ain't doing. You got 4 kids by 3 different motherfuckers. Talk about what the fuck we need to be doing for you.
Right.
Like, oh, you didn't even pick a right man right. And now we have to fix all this. Like, and the problem is you get brothers who actually listen to it, like, sister's kind of right. Like, man, it's just that you got to have people in there with a steel spine. You got to have some clear cut rules. for everybody who's a part of the group. Like rule number one, man. Don't date any of these damn people here. This ain't no damn social gathering. But I'm not gonna lie, man. Some of them women be looking amazing, but they got some amazing fucked up circumstances too. but but them dudes don't care, man. It's kind of like the church. You get all that power, and all of a sudden, the women just come circling the waters looking for a decent man with a big heart. All of a sudden, there's a lot of dudes who get caught up in that, man. It's just that come here for the mission statement. Everything else, you can do that somewhere else, But a lot of people ain't got those type of social skills or even put into positions of leadership. So they look for leadership wherever they can get it, and sometimes they get it out of these dudes, and that's kind of bad,
Let me do this before I start super chats out. Me, I will pride myself on one thing. If there's one, I see Brother Wayman Brown in here. One thing I realize as a black man, right? I have a great eye for other black male talent. I really do. And I try to get other black men to see that too in other brothers. Shout out to my brother Moses in here. My brother Moses is with, like I said, Jason Bonner was in here. We went to the same high school. We got to realize, right, that in the penitentiary or in the pen, there are a lot of dudes that are coming out that got a whole lot of fucking skill, whether that's welding, whether that's whatever. I mean, the greater society ain't gonna give them a motherfucking chance. We know that. You know what I'm saying? And there are a lot of brothers in the pen that got a whole lot of skill. So I could talk about just my our little community over here. Look at Donovan. Look at Rom. Look at Alan Roger Curry. Look at Tony Maceo. Yeah, people knew about Alan Roger Curry, but it was a Negro manosphere. I built my site around him. And now, people all around, they went to the 21 convention. Donovan went to 21 convention. I know Steve, we did many shows. He's going next year. He's been on the, Redman group. So we have brothers out here that know how to do things, and they do have talent, but we don't see it in ourselves and in each other. So as black men, we got to start to be able to look at the people that can help us that society has given up on, because think of the ManOfTomorrows. Before ManOfTomorrow, everybody loves when ManOfTomorrow comes on the show. I've been calling him every day, trying to get his ass on here. Because if we had the notifications up, we had like 500-600 people listening to ManOfTomorrow right now. But he just came on as a subscriber. But shit, when he's on these live streams, he be cooking. So what I'm trying to tell people is, we got to start trying to give other African American men opportunities and seeing what they're good at. What skills do they have? Everybody's not a convict, everybody's not a crook. Just because they did something against the system, that don't mean they're gonna do you like that. So just because white society gave up on them, that don't mean that you got to give up on them. But obviously, you got to understand that, the problem is with a lot of people that come out of jail, they don't have a support system, so they end up back into the same situations. You know what I mean? And so they don't really have the help a lot of times. So they become, what do you call somebody who ends up being a multiple offender? What do you call that?
I think like multiple recidivism or something.
Yeah, like recidivism. There you go. Yeah. Recidivism. So, that's where we have to, as brothers, we got to start trying to create other opportunities for the brothers to come in and learn how to do stuff. I'm about to have a brother on right now that was convicted of a robbery. He got one of the best, and he's a gang historian, and he's using his channel to, let people know about, the gang lifestyle and how it's not good. He's doing it, and he's just making a good career out of it. So we have brothers out here who have skill sets, who know how to do things, but we just got to really start linking up with brothers. But we also got to have this conversation, like, hey, if the gang life is over, it's over. You can't be out there using your gang name, nigga, Lil C Loken. You know what I mean? I'm still out here from West Side, East Side, beat him down, Crip. You know what I mean? And out here talking about you out here leading the community. Those are the people that I have problems with. So I don't know what else you got on that.
No, it kind of speaks for itself, and I'm not gonna lie, man. We're the most talented people on the earth. Period.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're not talented at business. We're talented at actually doing the actual work and actually improving things.
Right.
You know, I'm an atheist, but like I said, man, the only thing that we can do to get this thing back is to rebuild the black church and have it for black men only, or black men mostly. Because right now it serves the other gender, and it doesn't really do what it's supposed to do. What they don't realize is that if you have these kids in a kind of a system that operates correctly from beginning to end, oh, dude, you'll have that church money. You'll just have it from men, you know. And it's just that these kids need to be taught some order out here, and it's bad because you got this broken home situation and everything else, and the church not doing their job. But it's just that, man, I wish these circumstances were better. I do them because I look at the numbers. I look at the numbers. I look at the numbers. Like most of these kids, like most of these problems come down to O'Shea malnourishment.
Wow. I wouldn't
Yes,
disagree.
and we're talking about you look at kids' report cards. There was in straight A's and there was in the third grade. Like what happened? Oh, the kid needed glasses, so the kid couldn't see the board. Kind of a quiet kid, so he just kind of fell by the wayside. These are just normal things that could be taken care of that are just not really taken care of. I mean, it's just that I wish people would understand that do not have a family if you do not have a legacy to hand down to that goddamn child. Period. That would stop this shit in 25 years. On the other hand, you have to take men, talking about men only, you have to take control of the birth control issue. If she's not on, if you didn't pay for the birth control that she's on, then she ain't on it.
Hmm.
Period. And you got to stop the nonsense, man, because you don't have time to be stagnant in your life because you had a kid at the wrong time. Now you're paying the price. She's paying the price. Now you got to go after jobs that you probably don't want because you need money right away because you got to get, keep the child support people off your back. Like, hey, man, you really got to have some long term thinking going on here. And right now with this YouTube thing, I'm like, dude, you can look online and find out how to do anything.
Right.
There's so many books out there that you have access to. I'm like, man, dude, there's no reason for black men to be losing right now on no
Right.
level, man. No level. We
Right.
already the most talented people already. We don't own shit, but we do a hell of a lot of work for people.
Right. No, that's
You know,
true.
it's just that, man. I wish these circumstances were different. And for some people, man, I am hopeful for. A lot of people, a lot of these people ain't gonna make it, but the average of children who are going to make it and do a lot better and not making the mistakes of the past, that's on the rise. And I'm telling you, man, you got these kids who grow up in these circumstances, man. If they ever make it out, man, I'm telling you, man, they're gonna be beasts out there in the world
Yeah.
because they already went through 90 years of stuff that people ain't never even touched, and now they're 18 years old with all this knowledge, and now they can go out there and do whatever they want to in the world, man. But you got to give these kids a chance out there. You got to have these adults out there making sure that these kids are doing the right thing, man. Man, fuck all these big ass birthdays and horse drawn carriages to fucking proms and all that stupid ass shit.
Hmm.
Big ass Christmases and shit. Hey man, you actually love your kid. Give your kid a better life than you had. I'm talking about letting them know how this shit really works. And don't be embarrassed by the simple fact that you didn't fucking do it right. So that way your kid got to do the same dumbass shit that you did. Man, keep it real with your damn kids, man. Kids, like, dude, I'm telling you, man, you sit down with these kids, man, they can't wait to be told how their lives are going to change by the information that they're going to be able to use. Makes me sad sometimes, man. I talk to these kids. They ain't got no perspective. You sit down with them 5 minutes, man. This kid can change his whole life just talking to him 5 minutes a couple times a week, even though they go home to some horrific ass circumstances.
Hmm.
Some of them can last through it, a lot of them can't. But these parents got to be able to step it up, man, because not all the time that these programs are going to be everywhere. Like
Hmm.
these parents can really stop this stuff from happening. And your job as a parent is to redeem your child, not so that you don't do shit and then your child have to redeem you later. That ain't fucking parenting, man.
And
Ain't
here's something I want to say about, what I've noticed. Like when you have a person that's a parent that has been through the system, this is going to hurt for some people listening to this. Even if they're out of the gang, even if they don't, they might be born again. That doesn't take away from certain things that you've lost in how to be a parent. That doesn't mean that you now know how to create kids that are going to be, bright, that are going to be smart, that are going to have advantages. Typically, people who go to prison or get caught up, their kids don't do as good in life. That's just really the truth. For me, I ended up, because my parents and both my parents went to the UC system. So, and then my mom and my grandparents was at least smart enough to kind of keep me into certain educational situations. So I had some advantages over other kids. So my dad was out there on fooling around with cocaine. I was able to overcome that, and then he got his life together by the time I was like 12 or 13. So it wasn't like in the years I really needed him, he had kind of got back to where he needed to be. But the facts are, a person who has been to prison and has spent great times in prison, you have lost out on a lot of skill sets that you can teach your kids, and you've lost out on a lot of opportunities that you've been in your kids' life. So what ends up happening is, because that when you ain't raising your kids, somebody else has been raising your kids or having influence. So by the time you get back there, it could be possibly too late. I'm not saying all the time, but people that come out of certain circumstances, when it comes to your kids going to schools or educational things and stuff like that. Like my grandparents, my mom was going to UC Davis. They never went to college. They were good Christian people, but they didn't know anything about filling out college applications or SAT scores or whatever it took to get into the college at the time. And people who are in prison and come out of those situations, they obviously just don't get that information just because they changed their life. So great parents typically come from pretty good, decent stock. It's if you look at a lot of the billionaires right now, look at where they come from. Okay, for the most part, if you look at the Facebook guy, the Zuckerman dude, what's his parents were like? What, his dad was a doctor, his mom was a dentist. If you look at what was the guys, Bill Gates, his dad was a tax attorney. If you look at a guy like Jeff Bezos, he's worth $125 billion. It doesn't shock me that he went to let me just read you this, okay? Bezos attended Miami Palmetto High School. When Bezos was in high school, he worked at McDonald's a short-time cook during the breakfast shift. He attended the Student Science Training Program at the University of Florida. He was a high school valedictorian, a National Merit Scholar. Listen to this, all right? For those people who, when you want to gauge success of people in America or Black America or whatever, all right, the richest Black person, I think, what's this Black guy's name? Robert Smith. Robert Smith's parents was like a PhD, or one of his parents were a PhD in something, and he went to Cornell. All right, so he was a high school valedictorian, National Merit Scholar, and a Silver Knight Award winner. He graduated from Princeton University in 1986 with a 4.2 GPA and a Bachelor of Science degree in Electrical Engineering and Computer Science. Okay? His dad was an engineer for Exxon. All right. He went to so for anybody who doesn't want to know, like, you guys are thinking like I'm crazy. There's a reason why people become billionaires. There's a reason people become very smart in life. Okay, it's because their parents were already successful. You cannot build strong communities with people who are historically unsuccessful. I know y'all don't want to hear that. Only in the Black community people want to be so much different from anybody else. This is where you cannot lie. If the parents are not bright, or if the parents don't have resources, the children don't become much different than their parents, usually. That's a fact. It's just the truth.
It's an average. Like Like your kids should be as successful as you are as a parent by the time they leave the house at 18 years old, man. That's how they take it up a notch to the next level because
You
they
know.
got the baseline. And it's just that a whole nother thing that people have to understand. I know it's kind of sad, but man, it is okay for your kids to be better than you, black people. It is okay for your kids to be smarter than you, can do all type of math way better than you. Man, don't hold your kids from that. You know in your heart, you know this shit. You know what you didn't concentrate on in high school. You know what people in your class who done graduated with you, you know what you're doing right now. Yes, it's okay for your kid to do this and you not do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. It is okay for your kid to be a hell of a lot better than you. It's okay for your kid to go so far to where you have to go get professionals to deal with your kid because he's so damn smart. Be proud of that. Spend money on that.
Right.
Man, protect your kids from this dumbass rap music and all that type of shit. You know, get them do some context to that. Everybody else listen to it and don't end up messed up. Hey man, just don't let your kid go out like that. Listen.
Let me just add to what you're saying about the professional help. When I was like, because I didn't actually graduate from high school. I had some issues. I ended up graduating what was known as a Grant East at the time, and so I was going with the people that was just like, basically criminals in school, and I was just bad or whatever. And I graduated from a continuation school. I didn't even. It's called Kima High School. It wasn't even Grant High School. I didn't even get to graduate with my regular friends. I went to Grant. Now, that kind of hurt me. I picked up a U.S. News one day that said 15% of all community college students go on to the university. So, I mean, me knowing that, I always knew that I was bright, and I already knew that I was having some little behavioral problems for a time in my life. So I said, okay, what do I need to do? I know my math had gotten weak. I stayed hours, working on math, tutoring, getting help, paying for it, using a lot of my salary to pay for my tutoring, my mom paying for it, to catch me up for what I had missed out on. It took me some time to really get back up there. But what you're saying is true. I was dedicated to, that particular help. And then to be honest, the American River Community College that I went to is one of the best community colleges in the state. They had all type of programs that you can get free tutoring. I mean, they had every resource that you needed, to really get your life together. They had all kind of programs that you could get into. And I was like, damn, man, like, I see a lot of niggas here with no books. They got Jordans on, they ain't got no books. I made a video about that here on this channel. And it's amazing what opportunities that parents have for their children. You can call up to the local university, and it's nothing for you to, if your child has problems with math, start getting them with math tutoring, now, if they're not good at it. If you're not good at it, start paying that extra $20 an hour, $25 an hour. They have people to help you do shit like that, and the help is available to you. There's no other country where you can get this kind of help in the United States. And we don't take it, man. We just don't. And I owe my success to those additional help. I had, when I got into college, I had some issues sometimes with physics. I had issues with organic chemistry. I couldn't see things in like 3D for the R and S configurations. That was confusing for me and stuff like that. Hey, somebody that did know it, I went and got it, and it cleared the concept up for me. So by the time I got to medical school and stuff like that, I was already on the level that, okay, I almost knew everything. Even though I was out for some time, I was able to kind of get back on the ball. And you have YouTube now, man. I didn't have YouTube back then. You can come in and watch YouTube. Man, let me tell you this. I'm going to be along with it. YouTube is the best learning mechanism
in the world.
Come on, man.
In your language.
Come on, man.
In your hand. You don't even have to go for a tutor. You can learn how to do anything.
Come
like,
on.
dude, I don't understand how people got kids who don't know how to read or do math or anything. Dude, I'm telling you, you can pick this up. Like, you don't even have to go buy YouTube. People do it for free.
Come on, man. Let me say this real quick. I mean, for those people, like, I'm just telling you, I had problems like because I think we was using Lippincott, right? Because see, like teaching overseas, sometimes in medical school, they might not, some teachers are not strong as other instructors. So when you want to clear up a concept, because sometimes I was telling you in my medical sciences, I would read something and I didn't understand what was going on. Like I could read the words, but I didn't get the concept. So what happens is I would just watch the videos on what was going on. And I'm like, damn, that shit cleared it. So when I went back and read it, I'm like, oh, I understand it now. You know what I mean? And it saves you time in studying. It saves you time in getting concepts. All that is right here on YouTube. And niggas don't even use it. Don't use it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I said, man. I mean, it's very clear. If you ain't got an extra 40 hours in your week and an extra $3,000 a month, you don't need to be having no kids, man. Period.
Right.
So you ain't willing to turn your kid into an actual straight A superstar.
Right.
Leave it at just sex, man. I'm telling you, you're way better off.
And let me just say this real quick. D. Foxy said, I learned differently. A lot of people learn differently. You know what I mean? But we want to, let people know, especially the brothers, you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of opportunity. We're not coming down on nobody in the stream. We're just saying the same thing. Like, we wasn't built, for gang banging, you know what I mean? Obviously, there are some brothers that got talents and stuff like that, right? But this whole community thing is a group thing. And the people with the resources, in order for us to, learn from your resources and learn from our resources, you know what I mean? And we kind of got to work together, and I'm not taking away from nobody. I do have a show, though, with Kev Mack, the YouTube channel, man. And I think he's an ex-Crip. So we're going to hear it from his mouth. So part 2, but it's going to be on my other channel, Oshay Vlogcast. Let me just do this real quick and shout him out. And that's going to be a great stream. I want to thank everybody for the support. Brother Arain Knights, I missed a whole lot of the show. MOT is on fire. I love to hear the brother's thoughts and ideas. Good brother. Ron Echoes, Moses Jenkins, the biggest gang is the USA. My brother with the Korean writing, I think it's Thomas, right? Thank you for the super chat. I'm a Z Media Company. Black Stilo, $2. Truth Seeker, $10. The Transparency Network. It's hard for gang members to report after bid. Many turn back because they didn't get decent paying jobs legally due to being felons. That's true. Wayman Brown, MOT, hell of a combo. Dr. Deacon Eric P. Salute to the Negro Credit Party, O'Shea 2020. Yes. Thirst box coming tonight. Leroy Clark, what did you take on Master P, O'Shea? I do not know what's going on with Master P. What's going on with Master P right now? Anybody know? What up, Negro? The title's hilarious. I don't know shit about Master P. What's going on? But anyways, listen. We're going to be on the O'Shea Blogcast right now in like 5 minutes. So we're going to hear the same topic from Kev Mack videos. And also the Thirst Box is coming out tonight. You know what I mean? It is coming out tonight. So we'll be premiering. Shout out to everybody that's been supporting. You know what I mean? Thanks to ManOfTomorrow for coming on. MOT, anything else you want to say, brother?
Make sure y'all come through for the Black Man's Congregation on Sunday between the hours of 12 and 1.
Oh shit, Charles Sims, $49.99, my brother. He used to be roasting me, man, on Facebook sometime. Shout out to the brother, man. He's a good brother though. So you know what I mean? We're gonna start doing more content for brothers that, you know what I'm saying, opening the gates. I'm gonna start in 2019 interviewing brothers that's been in the pen and stuff like that. So we're not gonna just keep it on the elitism, the brothers that got all the resources and all that. We're gonna get dirty with it. You know what I mean? We're gonna talk to some ex-Crips. We're gonna talk to some brothers that's been out, in these streets, and how they turn their life around. So we're gonna get into that too, because they are a part of the black male community, and they deserve to be heard on their opinions. It might be different from what I'm saying. Shout out to everybody in here. So guys, meet me on the other channel, and thanks again so much, brother ManOfTomorrow, for holding me down today.